Introduce our speaker, 2016 MSW graduate and alumni, Allison Gilbreath. Allison is the Senior Director of Policy and Programs at Voices for Virginia's Children, where Allison leads child welfare policy and directs advocacy initiatives to improve the well-being of children and families across Virginia. A recognized leader in early childhood care and education policy, Allison has been instrumental in advancing efforts to increase access to high-quality, affordable child care throughout the state. Allison founded Voices Foster Care Policy Network, a coalition of partners, service providers, families, and youth that develops a united foster care agenda. Allison also co-launched Virginia's first bipartisan foster care caucus in the General Assembly and successfully led the creation of the Kinship Financial Assistance Program in 2020, supporting relatives caring for children in foster care. In addition to her policy work, Allison is a community-embedded faculty member in the School of Social Work and serves as a field liaison, guiding second-year macro concentration students. Allison, please join me at the podium.
Thank you, Dean Cuddyback, for that introduction. My name is Allison Gilbreath, the daughter of Justine and Dwayne Perry, the granddaughter of Bill and Gloria Perry and Leroy and Annie Mae Williams. I stand here today, only 2 generations removed from slavery and from the sugarcane fields of Louisiana. My ancestors toiled along the bayou while others who could pass for white were afforded opportunities to gain an education that the rest of my family could not. I stand here with honor and gratitude to serve as your 2024 commencement speaker. I am proud wife to Ryan Gilbreath and the mother of Perry and Ella Gilbreath. Today, I honor the ancestors who made it possible for me to be here. I honor my family who instilled in me resilience, faith, and determination that carried me through every stage of life. To the VCU faculty, family, friends, and most importantly, the graduates, thank you for allowing me to share this moment with you. I'd like to begin by sharing a story about my recent trip to Montgomery, Alabama. This wasn't my first time in Alabama. My husband Ryan was born there, and he has family in Gurley, right outside of Huntsville. But Montgomery feels stuck in time, a place where the past lingers heavily in the air. I went there with a group of passionate early childhood education leaders committed to dismantling inequities in our systems. We prepared for what's called racial caucusing, a space where individuals linked by racial identities could gather, share, and deepen their understanding of their lived experience. What I didn't realize was just how much I needed that space. Being in a room full of Black senior leaders from across the country, I was reminded of my why, the deep, unwavering purpose that drives me in this work. My what is dismantling systems of oppression that impact the lives of children and families, and my why is because I was that child, and that child still is me. One day, we took a bus tour guided by a powerful community advocate whose passion was palpable. We walked the same path that enslaved people were forced to take. We walked from the rivers of Montgomery to the plantations that awaited them. I cannot begin to describe the weight of that moment. I could almost hear the chains and the fears and the screams of families being torn apart. And in that moment, all I could see were the faces of my 2 children, Perry and Ella. I thought of the countless mothers who cried out for their babies, who held on to hope, even in the darkest of circumstances. It's a moment that I will carry with me forever. As part of our trip, we visited the Legacy Museum, built on the very ground where Black people were once held in bondage. The exhibits were raw, unfiltered, and overwhelming. One exhibit played recordings of children, their voices filled with terror and confusion as they were separated from their parents during slavery. I stood there, tears streaming down my face, grappling with the fact that while systems may look different today, the harm inflicted on Black and brown bodies remains painfully similar. The museum tour concluded with exhibits of mass incarceration, a stark reminder of how slavery has evolved, not disappeared, in our society. I found myself asking, where is the exhibit on the foster care system? A system that is overwhelmingly made up of Black children and of which I have lived experience in, not because of abuse, but because of poverty, a direct legacy of slavery, redlining, and systemic racism. I left Alabama with a renewed commitment to the work, with a profound understanding that intentional harm done through policy endeavors is not lost on me now, as we face a new administration that will challenge so much of our core beliefs as social workers. As social workers, we carry the weight of history on our shoulders. Here's what I want to share with you, graduates. As you step into the next chapter of your career, I want to talk about healing. Dr. Sean Ginwright writes in his transformative book, The Four Pivots, healing is the only pathway to real justice, because it requires that we take an honest look at what harmed us and pushes us to restore our humanity and finally to move us into a possible future. Many of us are drawn into social work because we are searching for our own healing. Healing from our childhoods, from traumas, from the injustices we have witnessed or endured. We came into this field wanting to make a difference, but what I have learned is that our journey as social workers is a lifelong path of healing, not just for others, but for ourselves. Healing is not a destination, it is a journey. It is not something that happens in a straight line, and it is not something that we can fully accomplish in the therapy room alone. Social workers exist in classrooms, boardrooms, courtrooms, organizing marches, and leading protests. We speak up in the State House and in the White House. True healing challenges us to reckon with our fears, with what holds us back from being our most authentic selves. It requires us to look inside and ask the hard questions. What are we truly afraid of? What keeps us from stepping into our full power? As you enter into this profession, you will face a world that is hurting, divided, and yielding for justice. The next 4 years may be some of the most critical for our field, but you will burn out quickly if you try to save everyone without saving yourself. Graduates, you are just reaching the starting line of your own journey. You may wonder, how do I remain hopeful, especially when facing the uncertainties of our time? I don't have all the answers, but I do have a few truths that have carried me throughout challenging times. I hold on to the strength of my ancestors who refused to let delay defeat them. I hold on to the young people who deserve better futures and whatever role I play in that. I hold on to the power of healing, knowing that it is the key to real justice. Being here today is a part of my healing journey that I really didn't even know existed. When I was in high school, I asked my 12th grade honors teacher, how could I possibly become a motivational speaker one day? Because I felt like maybe I have a story to tell. She looked at me and she said, I don't think there's anything you will have to say, so there's no point. But healing, hear me, does not mean that I need to say I told you so to Miss Blue. It's knowing that my story, my purpose, and my why was always going to be bigger than what she could see, if for perhaps I am defying gravity. To stay standing here before you as your commencement speaker, I feel the weight of her words lift, replaced by the power of my own story. Before I conclude, I want to offer you all an opportunity of healing right now. Some of you may have never heard these words before, but I want you to know how deeply you are seen, valued, and loved. Graduates, I'd like for you to remain seated. But for everyone else in this room, if you could please join me in standing if you are able. To the families, friends, and faculty present, please repeat after me. We see you.
We see you.
We are proud of you.
We are proud of you.
We believe in you.
We believe in you.
We are rooting for your success.
We are rooting for your success.
You may be seated. Class of 2024, you have chosen a path that is not easy, but it is one of the most noble paths one can take. You are stepping into your calling, and I'm so deeply proud of each of you. Remember, the world is waiting for the healing only you can bring. I am excited to see the ripples you will create, the lives you will touch, and the justice you will seek. Thank you for having me. This moment is one of the greatest honors of my life. Congratulations, graduates.